Okay, we're back with our little Z-sphere friend here, and we're going to get to work on topology. We're going to do it again. Go to rigging, select mesh, and we're going to select our head ref 2, and then topology edit. And let's zoom in on this little guy here. Let's keep my density to 1 before I forget. All right, so let's zoom in on him, and let's do these two pieces. Oops. And do it again. That little thing you do in ZBrush where you hold down shift to kind of snap to the side camera, you can't do that when you're in draw mode in Z-spheres, just so you know. It doesn't like that at all. So let's just delete topology and start again, because I did that. That's what I did. All right. So let's start drawing our topology out here. I'm just going to sketch this out. And again, to shift to a new vertex to start from there, just hold the control key down and click, and you'll start from there, from that point. Okay, so we have that, and let's just draw our mesh back here. Control. I'm guessing that there's another vertex in here. No, maybe not. Okay. So every once in a while, you just want to preview it, make sure, you know, everything is working according to plan. Remember, I had the skin thickness on before, and the preview did not go quite so well. So let's start from here, and I want to give myself some more resolution here so that I don't have to worry about this not being curved enough. And I'm going to go from here and just start drawing back this way. So I'm going to, right, and then just draw, of course, here. So again, in order to save you the agony of watching this, I'm going to pause the video and continue drawing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we finished this mesh here, and I'm going to go down here to my skin thickness and make this maybe 0.02. Take a preview of that. Okay, that's nice and thick. Might even be too thick, one might say. So just doesn't really matter, but that looks weird. Okay, so let's make this 0.017 or something like that, and then take a preview. Did that get bigger than before? It looks bigger. It's just 0.008. I don't know why I'm taking all this time, but that's better. Just a little bit of thickness. That's good. And let's make adaptive skin. Okay. So once again, we're going to go. I'm going to go in here and do some creasing. So I'm going to bring my skin Z-sphere back up here and go to my polyframe. And I probably don't have to do too much in the way of creasing. Just here in these little corners here. If I were to subdivide this, you'll see it's getting rounder around here. And given where this is the chest piece, in case you forget. It's like right here, I believe. No, it's not. It's not the chest piece. What am I talking about? It's under under the neck, under the head, I believe. So I do want to have this be I want this to be relatively sharp when I subdivide it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this the way it is. I'm going to bring it into my scene and do the crease work there, so that, you know, I can test it out as I'm looking at it with this mesh. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to rename this as let's call it under jaw, or Winder jaw if you spell it incorrectly like I just did. All right, I'm going to save this. I'm going to export this as an OBJ so that I can just bring it into my scene. And I'm just going to also save it as a tool. So, you know, under jaw, lovely. That way I can just append it if I want to. I can do it either way. Let's go back to our head ref now and take a look. Okay, yeah, so it was the under jaw part. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. And now I just want to get a reminder of what I'm looking to create for the second piece. So, again, let's go to our Z-sphere. And I want to make sure first that symmetry is on, which it is not. So you definitely want to make sure you check that. Sometimes I think that you have to do it this way before you go into the topology stuff, or it's not going to work. So, and that could be true. I haven't checked up on that. But let's go to rigging, select mesh, and once again we're going to find our head ref 2. And once again, edit topology. And there we go. So now we're going to get to work on this big part. And I'm just going to, I'm going to start down here because I want to remind myself, basically. I want to kind of guard against forgetting that this is an important part of that mesh. If I were to start up there by the head, by the main part of the head, I think I would kind of allow myself to forget, and I don't want to do that. So again, this is just the beginning of this whole wonderful process. Actually, I actually find this kind of fun. I mean, it's like using the Create Polygon tool in Maya. It's very, it's very freeing. You don't need to worry too much about much because it takes care of most of this for you. So I'm going to pause the video once again and finish drawing this out, and we'll be right back. Okay, so you can see here that I've drawn out this mesh, and I'm not going to draw the edge here. I figured when I extract this and make this thick, that will take care of itself. This part here, I'm going to have to make sure I create this and have this come out like a layered effect here. Right now it kind of blends right into it, but my plan is to make this actually be a separate piece, like a mandible that comes out ultimately. Okay, so we have our piece set up here, and like before, you can tell here, by the way, that there's a separate piece here. I'm going to have this whole separate piece layer on top of it. So just plan these things out while you're drawing your mesh here. If I go to my preview, and you'll see, my mesh exists, and I'm going to now give it some thickness. So I want this to be somewhat thick. You see the thickness here. I kind of want to emulate that. So let's give ourselves some thickness, 0.05 maybe. Preview. I really should remember how this thickness works. It's actually pretty close, but it's not quite. And I think actually, ideally, I'll drag this inwards. So let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure. Minus 0.07 and preview. Yeah, it pulls it right in. That's actually pretty good. But it's a little. I want to have a little more room inside there. So minus 0.055. We're splitting hairs here, but I think it's actually probably better. And as you can see, there's some smoothing to be done, but of course that's very easily done in with our sculpting tools. So and plus we'll crease this as well. So that looks pretty nice. Let's go out of preview mode here, and this is meant to be roundish down here, I think, when it comes down, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's go to preview. We like it. Our density, let's make our density 1. That way it's a low enough resolution that we can do some tweaking to it when we want to. As you can see here, for example, this is kind of sticking out. So we'll fix that when we make topology out of it. Make skin out of it. So adaptive skin, make adaptive skin. And here he is. No? Where is it? There it is. Skin Z-sphere. Okay. And he's happy. Now before I bring it in there, I'm just going to go to this little piece here. I'm in my go to my move brush here, and I have this brush size so small I can just pretty much just grab individual points. But first, make sure symmetry's on. Grab individual points and just move them back. Flatten it a little bit more. We're just we're getting him ready for his big debut in with the rest of the robot. Okay. So just little things there. You can tweak this to your heart's content, and you can also, and of course the H polish brush will just flatten all this right down anyway, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot at this stage. So here's our piece. I'm going to save this. I'm going to name this. I'm going to call this head cap, just because it's something that I remember. And there it is. So I'm going to save this as a Z tool. And I'm going to export it as export it as an OBJ. I just like to have, backups, and that is a rule that I think everyone should follow. Back up and back up and then back up again. Okay, so we've made our pieces. What I'm going to do in between videos is just go through and do the creasing. Isolate individual faces that need to be nice and sharp and crease them, and then we can go into our final mesh here and start piecing everything together. I'll probably also go through and just start to add some details to these things, some little wires and stuff like that. I'll start doing some of that before we get moving on. But then we're going to, in the next video, we're actually going to start working on the part where the eye is. which is a really cool part. So I'll see you in the next video.